How would you kind of evaluate the performance of the offensive line so far this year?
I feel like we've done a lot of great things, and we've been fairly consistent, but at the same time, we don't want to rest on that and get complacent. So we realize how much more that we need to do. So I feel like that's kind of like how it is. The more you do, you realize how much more you need to do in a way.
Would you say that, where are you at from an improvement standpoint, where you were last year to where you are now? What was it like kind of just moving around the offensive line and now settling in?
From my freshman year to the next year to now, I feel like my improvement has skyrocketed really with the different coaches that I've had. Credit to Coach Cav, the training we've done in the off season, Coach Joe. I feel like my body is a lot more mature, and mentally just the amount of preparation and focus and knowing what I need to know going into game day is tremendous. So it gives me a great deal of confidence going out there, feeling confident because you feel prepared.
Now, granted, that physicality showed for you 4 quarters, but showed even more with the victory bell. Can you walk us through that?
Well, that was my first time ringing it myself, and I didn't know that it was that weak. I didn't know the bell. I didn't know the bell wasn't on there tight. So I was like, "Oh, I'm about to ring it hard," and then it broke, and I was like, so next time I'll just give it a little jingle.
When you look at UCLA on film, what are some of the things that stand out about their personnel, specifically with that defensive line? What do you guys have to be prepared for?
Well, I feel like they do a lot of things schematically, a lot of eye candy, a lot of disguising, and such like that, a lot of movement. So this is not that you need to prepare more for 1 week than any other week, but since they do so much, it is one of those things that becomes very mental, and that you really need to hunker down and prepare for with the rewind button.
It looks like the passing game has really picked up the last 2 weeks. I mean, from your perspective as an offensive lineman, how different does it feel, just in terms of the pass blocking and seeing, the pass game really get on track more?
I mean, I never doubted the pass game for 1 second. I feel like you do what you need to do, and I feel like with the matchups we've had with our previous opponents, we could pound the ball as much as we want to. Not that we can't in the future, but I mean, I feel like we're a team that since we're not selfish, we can just do what we need to do rather than just, we want to do this, we want to do that, let's just do this just to do it, So we'll scheme that out based on our opponent, and if we can smash them in the run, which I love, let's do that. And if we can let Jaden air it out, let's do that too,
But there does come a point where you really have to impose your will. I mean, if you have a defense showing an 8-man front, you still have to pound the ball just to make a statement.
Always. And I want to work on imposing my will in the run game and pass game with my mindset is, how can I get a knockdown on this play, So that's how I want to look at it.
Last game against BYU, there was trouble communicating at the line, getting plays through. Is there anything you've done this week as a group to kind of settle that per se?
Well, personally, don't quote me on this because I'm not sure, but I don't know if I'll play another game that loud the rest of the year. I hope I don't. But we've done a lot. We've done a lot to work on being in those loud situations and over communicating, being louder, articulating our words more, hand signals. Me and Kellen even make a joke read my lips, type thing, and so that's been great.
What is it about the UCLA front that makes it so effective against the run, in your opinion?
I think it's their movement, because some teams they just come straight off the ball and they just play their gap, which works for them in some way. But for UCLA, they a lot of side to side, so it's a lot more eye candy that you have to account for.
So for you guys as an offensive line, how do you, from a physical standpoint, I know mentally you have to be very disciplined, but from a physical standpoint, how do you kind of protect against something that looks like that?
I mean, physically, we're not going to change. I feel like we're very physical, and we're just going to keep our physical mentality. And I don't think physicality is something that our O-line ever has to worry about.
For a guy like Donovan West, who gets to go home and potentially for the last time play in front of his home crowd really at UCLA, what do you think that means for him specifically, and just kind of what has he brought to this team in terms of his performance this year and his leadership now that he's moved to center?
I'm not sure. You'll probably have to ask him how that means for him. I haven't asked him about that. But leadership-wise and what he brings to center, I love having him next to me at center, because I feel like me and him together see everything. And see the blitzes before they happen, and making the calls together. And he's very good at stuff like that. He's amazing at that, actually. I think he has for sure a next level brain when it comes to pre-snap reads. So that's amazing by him.
You've been a part of now 3 different offensive lines with different groups of players now at ASU. What stands out about this group to you?
I think this group is the most athletic we've been, and it's probably the most technically sound we've been too. And it's probably also the most mentally prepared we've been to. So I think that's a big standout.
And how has your captains, especially like Chase, how has he been a leader in the rim and as a veteran? Like, has he taught you anything in particular? But just how has Chase been this year so far?
I love Chase's leadership. It's a lot like how Frank's was. I mean, they were best friends. They are best friends. But Chase reminds us this game, he was like, this game, the next game, the previous game, don't get into the hype of, this is a big game. We need to win every game, because he keeps our mindset on what our end goal is, which is to win the Pac-12, win the Pac-12 South, go to a Rose Bowl. So with Chase continually saying that to us, I feel like it's really good leadership by him.